Welcome back, fiends and freaks, to Anarchy Airwaves, the only place where chaos reigns and Punk's dark underbelly is brought to light. Tonight, we bring you an unspeakable clash, a battle that's been a long time coming, a fight for the soul of the misfits. On one side, the original king of the macabre, the man who carved out the dark legacy of horror punk with his growls and shadows, Danzig. And on the other, the man who took the reins in the 90s, the voice that carried the misfits into a new era, Michael Graves. This isn't just a fight. This is a reckoning. The old guard versus the new blood. But what happens when the master returns to claim what was always his? When the man who created the misfit steps face to face with his own creation. His blood, bones, and resurrection, folks. One will fall tonight, and one will rise again, twisted and bound to a new fate. Get ready for a dark, twisted showdown like no other. This is Anarchy Airwaves, and this is the fight for the soul of the misfits. Thunder crashes, and the sound of an eerie, distant scream echoes. Announcer voice with a sinister tone. Let the chaos begin. Scene: a dark, stormy night in an abandoned graveyard. Lightning cracks through the sky, illuminating two iconic figures standing in the midst of the graves. The ground under their feet wet from the recent rain. The atmosphere is thick with tension, the wind howling as the audience gathers in eerie silence. On one side, Danzig-era misfits stand ready. Danzig, with his unmistakable sneer, dressed in black leather, his iconic Devil's Rejects look. On the other side, Michael Graves-era misfits, the newer version of the band, stand with their more polished, but still dark aesthetic. Graves, clad in his skeleton jumpsuit, cracks his knuckles, his eyes locked on Danzig. Tonight, Anarchy Airwaves brings you an unholy showdown for the ages. From the grave, we present the eternal battle of the misfits. On one side, the original, the man who forged the legacy, Danzig, the dark king of punk horror. And on the other side, the man who carried the torch into the 90s, the voice that brought new blood to the misfits, Michael Graves. But this isn't just a fight. This is a battle for the soul of the misfits. Who will stand victorious and who will be buried for eternity? Round 1. Clash of the Ghouls. Danzig steps forward, his black hair slicked back and his stance exuding confidence. He glares at Graves, a sinister smile creeping across his face. Danzig, you might have been the future, Graves, but this is MY Graveyard. Let's see if you've got the guts to claim it. Graves, with his skeleton face painted and eyes sharp, cracks his neck, stepping into a defensive stance. The difference between their auras is evident. Danzig, raw and primal, while Graves is a more refined, sinister version of punk. He responds with a cocky grin. Graves, you might have carved the path, Danzig, but I gave the world what it wanted. You can't hold onto the past forever. The battle erupts as Danzig immediately charges with a heavy, swinging punch aimed at Graves. Graves dodges, his movements quicker, more agile. Danzig lands hard on the ground, rolling back into a defensive stance. Graves tries to follow up with a high kick, but Danzig catches his leg and twists it, throwing him to the ground with a growl. Danzig, you're nothing but a puppet in a skeleton suit. Graves, and you're just a shadow of the man you used to be. Round 2, blood and bones. The two men circle each other like wolves, eyes locked. Graves, with his eerie calm, tries to land quick jabs, aiming for Danzig's ribs, but Danzig, powered by raw strength, catches Graves' arm and spins him around, throwing him into a tombstone. Graves grunts, quickly recovering as he rolls out of the way. Graves, you're still the same old monster, aren't you? Danzig, and you're still the same puppet, just pretending to be me. Graves gets back on his feet, wiping blood from his lip. He charges, but this time he pulls out a large, jagged gravestone from the ground, using it as a weapon. He swings it at Danzig, who sidesteps the attack, but Graves catches him with a swift knee to the stomach, sending him stumbling backward. Danzig, that all you got? But Graves doesn't wait for a response. He presses the attack with a flurry of punches and kicks, each more aggressive than the last. Danzig stumbles for the first time, showing a rare moment of vulnerability. Graves kicks him in the chest, sending him crashing into a crypt. Round 3, the final showdown. Danzig, now furious, stands up with an inhuman growl. His eyes blaze with a fiery rage, and the atmosphere turns even darker. Danzig, enough. You think you can replace me? You think you can control this legacy? Let's see how you handle hell. With a supernatural fury, Danzig lunges forward, grabbing Graves by the throat and lifting him into the air. Graves struggles, but the strength of Danzig is overwhelming. Graves, you can't kill what you've already buried. But Danzig just smiles darkly and squeezes harder. The wind howls louder as Graves begins to lose consciousness, his body going limp in Danzig's iron grip. Danzig, you were just a vessel. Time to return to the dirt. With one final, crushing blow, Danzig snaps Graves' neck. The body falls lifeless to the ground, motionless, cold. Danzig wins. Fatality. The resurrection, the graveyard goes still and the storm clouds swirl above. Danzig, standing over the lifeless body of Graves, smirks. Danzig, you were a good servant, Michael. But you were never meant to lead. Then, with a dark chant, Danzig raises his hands to the heavens. Thunder crashes, lightning strikes, and the ground trembles beneath them. Slowly, Graves' body starts to twitch. His chest rises and falls. The once lifeless body begins to stir as Danzig's power takes hold. His eyes snap open, glowing red. Graves stands, now reanimated but with something unsettling in his movements. Graves, what? What happened? Where am I? Danzig, you're home, Graves. You're mine now. I've brought you back, and now you'll serve me just like you always should have. Graves, his movement stiff and unnatural, bows his head in submission. Graves, what is your will, master? Danzig, from this moment on, you're my butler. Keep the house clean, do my bidding, and don't forget, I am the master of this legacy. Finishing move. Resurrection fatality. Danzig stands triumphantly looking at Graves, who now serves him without question. The storm clears, leaving only the echoes of Danzig's dark victory in the air. Danzig, the past never stays dead. But tonight, I've shown what happens when you try to wear my crown. The misfits are mine again. And Graves, well, he's just a reminder of what happens when you get in my way. The camera pulls back to reveal Graves, his soul now bound to Danzig's will, a puppet forever in the service of the Dark King of Horror Punk. This is Anarchy Airwaves, and you've just witnessed a resurrection like no other. Stay tuned, punks, because chaos never dies, it's only reborn. Well, what a spectacle we've just witnessed, my friends. A clash not just between two men, but between eras, between legends. Danzig has proven that no one ever truly leaves the darkness. His power, his rage, his control over the Misfits' legacy, it's all been sealed tonight. In a brutal, unforgiving fight, Michael Graves fell, and in a twist that only the darkest corners of punk could create, he was resurrected, reborn into something else. A servant to the very man who created him. This wasn't just a battle for supremacy. It was a battle for the soul of the Misfits. And now, with Graves bound to Danzig's will, the lesson has been learned: you can't outrun your creator. The master always reclaims his throne. Punks, we're living in a world where even death can't stop the chaos. The fight might be over, but the war for Punk's dark heart? That's far from done. You've been listening to Anarchy Airwaves, where the dead rise, the legends clash, and the chaos never stops. Stay tuned, because the graveyard is never quiet for long. Anarchy Airwaves signing off until next time.